Welcome back to this Wellness Billion podcast, my friends. It's so nice to see you again. So nice to have an amazing moment with you. Today, it's a very special podcast because we're having a guest from India, and you'll know more about her this podcast. My dad, Karim Amor.
Hi guys, we're happy to have you again and see you. It's been a long time, 1 week we didn't see each other. We're having Amita Gadre, a professional nutritionist from India, as Yassine said. And here we are. Amita, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Amita. I'm a clinical nutritionist from India, and I believe that you can get rid of most of the lifestyle disorders that we are seeing today simply by changing your diet and your overall lifestyle and keeping it holistic. So, and I've been working with people since the past 20 odd years, and I work across geographies. I work with people all across the world. So thank you for calling me here. Lovely to speak to you all.
This looks amazing, and we're going to have a real conversation. We're going to dive into different topics as usual. And I'm going to give the floor to Amita to present to us the first topic. Each of our guests presents a topic. We remember, Yassine, can you remind us the topics?
So basically, we're going to be tackling three different topics as usual. We're going to tackle nutrition, we're going to tackle marketing in wellness, and we're going to tackle AI in wellness. So today, the first topic, Amita is going to tackle it first, which is going to be...
So the first one is the role of diet in young adults with metabolic syndrome risks. So we have this one article where I'm just going to present what are the title as well as the primary statements that we found, the summaries here. The title is Metabolic Syndrome Risk, the Role of Diet in Young Adults. The first point is that balanced nutrition and exercise are key players in combating the rising metabolic syndrome rates among young adults. This we are seeing big time, okay, across, even in India. The second one is the risk of metabolic syndrome was more than double in the highest quartile of the legume nut group. Interesting, with an increase of 163% above the lowest quartile, particularly among those with irregular physical activity. The third thing is that the study participants in the egg and vegetable group had a 74% reduced risk of metabolic syndrome compared to those in the lowest quartile, particularly among those with irregular physical activity. The conclusions were these findings highlight the significant influence of dietary patterns on the risk of metabolic syndrome in young adults and the modifying effect of regular physical activity.
Very, very interesting. It's in the heart of what you do, Amita. So my first questions to all of us is how you guys do you think traditional, cultural, Amita, remember we were talking about our different cultures and the different foods we were eating offline. And so the question would be, how do you think traditional cultural diets impact modern health issues like metabolic syndrome when lifestyles have drastically changed over time?
You mentioned 2 points here, right? While traditional diets, if people were following them, are actually very good and they are pretty balanced across regions if you look at globally. But now with the changing lifestyle, we are seeing a lot of inclusion of very ultra processed foods. And this happens in India as well as everywhere else. I'm sure even it's happening in Morocco, that people are, especially young adults, they are eating a lot of ultra processed foods, keeping behind what was the traditional wisdom or the traditional diets, which were as such pretty balanced for the geography that they were in. That is, and that combined with, like the paper, like the article mentions a couple of times, lack of physical activity. So those two coming together is what is showing us a significant increase in metabolic syndrome across, populations, not just in India, but everywhere in the world.
Yeah, Yassine, what's your intake on that?
So basically, I think I'm the main character in this kind of article. Why? Because I'm the youngest adult in here, and you know what? It's so true that today we are consuming more and more ultra processed food because it's so easy to get this ultra processed food. You go to the supermarket, you find a big kind of area where there's like chips and biscuits and all of that, and it kind of attracts you. You know, whenever I pass from the supermarket, I pass from that alley, I'm like, oh, what should I do? Should I take? Should I not? At the end, I'm not taking because I know that if I take the same night, I'm going to consume everything. So I prefer not to buy this kind of thing. And another problem is that today it's easy to order online. So it reduces our physical activity because we just like scroll on whatever app we have to order food. We find something attractive, we order and we eat. Super easy. Before, we didn't have this. We had to cook or we had to go out of our house to go grab something and eat. So we had more physical activity. So, I mean, technology makes us lazier, which is bad.
But also something that we have to point out. Did you get, guys, that when you go into the supermarket, more and more times you have packages that show you that the product you're going to buy is very natural, with the fancy picture they put in, with all the labeling that they put in, like the natural ingredients. I mean, these natural ingredient things, for me, is the best trap ever. Because you feel that you're eating ingredients, so you buy and buy. The questions to be asked also is that none of the people, the people that go to supermarket are not all aware of what's going on. And this is the purpose of our podcast, by the way. And what is the responsibility and how extended is this responsibility of the food producers bringing up packages, images, labels that are misleading people on the way they proceed? What do you think, Amita?
So just a couple of points to add on to what Yassine was saying. Like, while the access has become very easy, to tell you guys, in India, we actually can order in any packaged food now, even if it's available, say where I'm staying right now, the same building houses, say some commercial shops from where I can go down and buy, but the same stuff can be made available to me through different apps in 8 minutes. So that's the kind of instant access that we are speaking about. And and what also happens, Karim, is that most of these foods that are very quickly available are the packaged foods and the ultra processed foods that you are speaking about, and that what we know are problematic, that people are eating, but still is so attractive and is so easy to access. Now, coming back to the responsibility of the food producers and the manufacturers, yes, the responsibility lies with the manufacturers, but I think the responsibility also is with the governments and with the policymakers, where we need to be more transparent in terms of how the food labeling is happening, and they do not allow, say, some ingredients to pass off something else. To give an example, a lot of times you will see in food, say in cookies or something, it would say no sugar, but then it would have maltose. Now, maltose is a sugar, or it would have maltitol, or it would have a xylitol. So these are all alcohols, and while it's a sweetener, but end of the day, it is not something that you are going to be adding at home. So one needs to be aware as a consumer. I need to be aware as a nutritionist. I need to be making more people aware as to how to read the nutrient labels, as well as the food manufacturers need to be forced to be more transparent about what they are putting in, and not passing off something which is essentially a glucose drink with a big, say, picture of orange, where people start thinking that it's a citrus beverage. So yes, that needs to happen, more say policy making and more action on that, and this needs to happen everywhere. In fact, in Australia, if you look at it, Australia recently, in last year, they introduced a very good system where products have come with a star rating. So something which is like quite healthy and falls within your requirements or the recommended dietary allowances for your sugar or protein and macros and everything, or has like very less amount of added sugar, would get a higher star rating, and the other products which were more ultra processed would get a lower rating. So that kind of stuff needs to be brought into place across countries globally, so that even as a consumer, if I want to eat a cookie which is ultra processed, I can go for that. But it should not be like I ended up eating something which was not ideal or healthy or recommended for me simply because I did not know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Our venture actually, 𝐒𝐿, does just this when it links nutrition with the metabolic diseases, and we have a way through our phones to know in the supermarkets what is the nutritional value, what you're getting, and more of that. Whenever you make a plate with the recipe, you have a nutritional score. What happens, Amita? What we noticed, Australia is doing a great effort, as you mentioned, but what happens is that it's very the wall between giving the right profound information and the internet and the capability of any one of us, normal people who are not embedded in the wellness that we are, don't particularly know how to interpret those values. And sometimes they are also tricky in the vocabulary. And I'm wondering, even if there is a very strict policy, country policy about how to present product in the supermarket or anywhere else, there might be some tricks to be done inside on the package, so that people are quite misleading.
So I have actually here as well in Morocco, we have nutrition scores. We have nutrition scores in several packages, but the nutrition scores are so bad. I personally aware in wellness since a very young age, thanks to my dad. My dad put me to wellness for a very, very long time, because I was actually going the wrong direction. I was going the direction that everyone goes, like 80% of the population. That's for sure. And when I go to the supermarket, I love taking products and seeing the nutrition, like the nutrition behind the nutrition table behind the product. And sometimes I agree with you, Amita, when you say like no sugar. And most of the times now the products have no sugar added. But when you read behind the product, you see that there's mainly only sugar, but there's no sugar added. And this is kind of a marketing thing, which is, it's kind of legit, to be honest, because if you create a product to be able to sell, you're trying to arm yourself most of the unethical stuff, but still legal stuff, to be able to sell your product, which is normal. Now, our job, wellness creators, wellness enthusiasts, is to tell people those kind of stuff, so that people can be aware and that they can learn how to read a certain product to be able to eat or not. And it's part of our job. This is our job. If the nutrition, like if, for example, the product that we find on supermarket, because now we're talking about supermarkets, they're totally transparent. What is our job? We're going to lose our job if it's not just informing people that is bad, or we need to do this or do that. So I mean, it's kind of a healthy game. Let's keep it that way.
So the funny thing is, like, now that you mentioned it, that yes, of course, it's a business, and it's a commodity, it's a product that is out there that one wants to sell, and everyone wants to make money out of it. But the funny thing, because you're saying that if they were transparent, then what would people do? Or even when it comes to the end consumer, right? Where am I going to be making this choice of eating this product or not? So I'll give you a very funny incident that happened. One of my patients, so I told them that, you know what, when you're going to the supermarket, I just want you to avoid, because this person had come from a very strict regimen, and I wanted almost bordering on an eating disorder where they were now scared to eat. So all that I wanted them to do was focus on not having too much trans fat. So I told them to just read the label, and anything which had more than 0.1 gram per serving of trans fat, to avoid that. Okay. And if you're just going to avoid that much, anything else that falls beyond this, which is like, it doesn't have more trans fat, you can have. All right. You wouldn't believe that guy, he called me up from the supermarket. He said, the only things that I can have are salted peanuts. Because every other snack, he had gone to buy a snack, every other snack had a lot of trans fat, which then you told me not to have. So I couldn't, so buy it. So Amita, tell me, what do I eat now? There isn't anything available. Although thankfully now, everywhere with increasing awareness and people also making those choices, especially people of your age group, Yassine, when people are demanding that you need cleaner labels and that you need cleaner products, where we want to know what we are eating. That's when we are also seeing a lot of good products which are out in the market, where everything is pretty transparent. If they are adding, say, jaggery, or if they are even adding sugar, they would tell you about it and not try to make things covert. So that is there, of course, but I think the demand needs to be driven, and we as wellness creators have a big role to play in that, wherein, like you said, we will make people aware, which is when they can go and then demand those products from the community.
Yeah, but then we have to take something else into consideration, Amita, is the fact that when you look at it from a very transparent point of view, real food is more expensive than processed foods. And it depends where and depends how, because when you go to the supermarket in India, I would bet, like in Morocco, in our country, you have fantastic vegetables and fruits that you can have. When it gets to like starchy products that are packed, it's always a matter of cost. If you make your pasta home, it costs you a higher price than if you buy it at the supermarket. If you want to have fancy, I would say, paella, which is a Spanish plate, by the way, that maybe you
a rice dish, yes.
A rice dish, yes. You have to buy rice. You don't know how the rice is made, and you have to cook it and so on and so forth. I was the one, true story, following some kind of healthy food style for 25 years, and until I found out I have a high level of diabetes and hypertension. Why is that? Because I thought that rice, mainly raw rice, was good for my health. Well, raw rice has a glycemic index quite high, and we don't realize it. So we eat rice, pasta, those things, and we think we're good, which is not the case. And the fact is that for commodity purposes, and for this life with ever speedier and speedier, and we hope it will slow down with the era of AI, and we'll talk about it. We are nearly forced to go and buy food from the supermarket, cook it fast, or grab it from any fancy restaurant and eat it. And this makes food at a lower price than it would be if you buy it, you cook it. I mean, your whole value chain is made at your home. And this is a big issue, because the more we go, the more optimal people are producing foods in their factories. And yes, I agree that entrepreneurs and factory owners have to make profits. But at the end, when you look at the way the food is processed to make it a lower price, then it becomes a scandal.
So there are a couple of factors here, Karim. What happens is, in Asia, for example, it's not true that your raw produce, your fruits and vegetables are more expensive than packaged foods. That's not true. We still get fruits and vegetables out here at a much reasonable price, but the cost is something else. The cost that you're paying is having the time and the skill set to make that into a meal, which most people these days don't have. So be it Yassine's generation or mine, what happens is everyone is so busy. So either they don't have the time or they don't have the skill set. I'm seeing so many people who simply don't know how to grill a chicken, or to blanch some vegetables, or to toss them in some olive oil. So the cost that you are speaking about, where you are comparing produce versus what is easily available commercially, is not just that of money, but also of time and skill set and ability or the motivation to do that. So to give you an example of the paella, if you are wanting to cook it and then you're going to buy those ingredients, even if I had the money or if it was cheaper, what do I do after I have made one serving with the rest of it? If it's just one single person, because now increasingly we're also seeing most people are living on their own, single people. You don't have families or more than two people living together. That happens, it's increasingly on the decline the world over. So that's also another cost of what do I do with the rest now, even if I did know how to cook? So yes, it is that is what I feel pushes people towards convenience. I personally don't find anything wrong, even as a nutritionist, in say someone going for a ready, frozen vegetables, or someone opting for a pack of ready to cook. By ready to cook, I mean like where you have those little boxes of salads or soup, vegetables put together, where I'm buying that and then I'm probably putting it in a soup pot or something and making that for my own. I don't find anything wrong with that, even as a nutritionist or as a person who lives alone and manages her own food. But the problem is that the lack of awareness of what, if I'm not going to choose this, if I'm going to choose a can of soup which is high in sodium, what is it going to do to me in the future? Because the damage is not going to happen today, the damage is going to happen to you in the next decade. By then, like say Yassine would already be in his 30s and he would be like, now the 30s have struck me, what do I do with it?
Yeah,
Right?
it'd be interesting to know Yassine's opinion, because Yassine, you are the one who does a recipe in front of your more than 2 million followers. Let's speak about the fajita things. What are your returns in terms of reactions when you show people how to make fajita? What do they think? What do they think about it?
Basically, they love it because it's a super easy dish to make, super healthy, and you kind of make it in like 10 minutes in one only pan, and that's it. And then you have a tasty, easy, healthy, and quick meal just right in front of you to be able to eat. Because I totally agree with what Amita said. It's not only about money, but it's about time. We as young adults, I don't know how, maybe it's because of social media or something, but we don't have time. We're always in a hurry. We're always like, oh no, we need to do this, we need to do that. I don't have time to be able to cook. And that's the main criteria that I see from people that follow me and that give me feedbacks like, oh Yassine, but I don't have time to cook. I'm like, yes, you do have time to cook. You just have to make time to cook, because what you eat, what you put inside of you, it's one of the most important things in your entire life. As you said, Amita, in my 30s, I'm like, when I'm gonna be 30, I'm still not, but when I'm gonna be 30, I'm like, okay, and now what? And I'm happy that I'm super healthy inside of me, and I whenever I can cook, I will cook.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I cook 95% of the time, and this is not cooking during the week. It's a no-go for me. For example, when my dad asked me, okay, let's go to the restaurant, I'm like, maybe we should eat at home. I prefer to eat at home because I know what they cook at home and I know what's going to be in my plate. Going to the restaurant, I don't know what's going to be in my plate. And this is a big no-go for me because I'm aware of the health issues that I'm going to have if I keep on eating every single time out. And I'm happy today that I'm inspiring over 2 million people on social media to be able to cook healthy meals, healthy burgers, healthy pizzas, healthy whatever they want, but in a healthy way to eat at home. And this is possible.
And then we come back to questions. I don't agree with you, Yassine, when you say healthy burger. When you show people, I mean, you eat hamburgers and we know it. When you show people how to eat hamburgers, I'm okay with the meat, whereas your meat, as Amita said, you go out, you buy it in a grocery shop next to you and so on and so forth. When it gets to bread, for instance, I mean, burger has a big part of it, which is bread. These two things in between the burger are the killer things, because we see more and more diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, obesity coming from the bread they eat in the middle of the burger. It's not the burger per se, we could look at it, but the bread they put and the tomato sauce they put, like the ketchup they put in the middle. This is all sugar. When you take a white bread, it's 90 in the level of sugar glycemia index.
Okay. Let me cut
90
you.
is one of the highest. It's even higher than sugar. So bear in mind when you add, I mean, I'm telling you.
It's not 90% sugar. Yes, if you want to take that, then I'll add it.
Go for it. Go for it. It's
So the thing is, you're seeing increasing rates of diabetes because the total calorie intake is massive right now. So people, it's not just about the bread. It's the bread is doing literally nothing. It's an innocuous wheat thing that is there. Of course, we have a lot of additives in commercial bread, but even despite that, if I was to eat, say, half a burger or one burger once a week, it should not impact my health goals, or it should not impact say my blood sugar, if I'm balancing it out with the rest of the macros and what I'm doing the rest of the time. So having one hamburger is not going to catapult me into a diabetic realm, but what is going to happen is what am I doing the rest of the 95% of the time is more important than focusing on that one hamburger. So if say Yassine is making a hamburger at home, I would commend him for doing that, because at least then what is happening is he's bringing in the meat. He knows how much fat the meat has. He knows how much fat he's adding to it, what cheese is there, instead of eating, say, a hamburger outside that is going to be much healthier than one bought from a fast food chain. And know
Amita,
that
you
you're not
made my
giving
week. You made
diabetes.
my week. You made my week. I'm good. I'm good because now I'm gonna hear him talking all the time because you're 100% right. It's all about the quantities and whatever you're gonna put. I'm not saying that the white bread is healthy. The white bread is not healthy, but it's healthier than eating a burger outside that you don't know what is inside. You don't know what's inside that burger. Making a healthy burger at home, it's 100% possible. If you don't want to use ketchup or whatever, don't use it. Use a healthy tomato sauce that you can make at home as well. But this two patties of bread that you're talking about, Karim, it's yes, those two patties of bread are not healthy, but are 99% healthier than what you're gonna get outside.
I don't agree, because when you show people how to make these hamburgers at home, they might think, unless you tell them, okay, you have a hamburger once a week. Agree with you, Amita, once a week is good. But when you tell them, okay, this is a very healthy food, the way you make it, first, the bread you buy for hamburgers, most of it is not made home, is made outside in a very industrial facility, and it's as unhealthy as the one you buy in the supermarket or you get at any fancy burger restaurant. So when you show them how to make it home, they might feel, unless you tell them, that if they make it every day, they'll be good. And I agree with you, it's about the frequency in which you eat that bread. Because if you eat that bread with the hamburgers every single day because you feel it's good for you, or although you make you put chicken in it or you put anything else in it, it'll kill your sugar absorption capacity and rise your and make your insulin resistance weaker and weaker.
So Karim, while perfection and idealism has its place, as a clinician, if I have someone who is eating a hamburger from a fast food restaurant every single day because it's easy, it's convenient, it's tasty, and it's cheap. Okay, if this person is now going to make a choice, a deliberate choice of making a hamburger using industrial bread, but at home, I would tell him to go for it, even if it means that they're eating that hamburger, say, if not every day, 3 times in a week, not once a week, which is like what we would recommend, if at all. Yes, it's not healthy. It's not the best food. It's not the healthiest, not loaded with vegetables, agreed. But I would still go ask them to have that one which they're making at home, even with the store-bought ketchup, because at that point of time, they know how much ketchup they are putting in, and they're not left to the mercy of the mayonnaise and mustard and ketchup of the fast food chain. So that, to me, is still 5 steps ahead of nothing.
I totally agree. Again, it's not about perfectionism. It's we can't be perfect. We need those stuff to be able to enjoy. And at the end of the day, let me tell you, the patty that I'm putting, for example, not the patty. The patty is fat free, so there's no fat in my meat. But the bread is only 130 calories out of my whole meal, which is going to be 700 calories on my whole meal, and it's going to be maybe the patty is going to be 20%. Of the calories of my meal, or not even 20%. So I'm like, let's play the 80-20 rule. If 80% of your diet is healthy, accept those.
These I agree totally. We have to zig and zag. No problem with that. But look at the articles we just read. I mean, Amita just read. They say the vegetables and egg was much digestible and spice much less the sugar than the legume nut group. The legume nut group, if I remember correctly, Amita, it was about 163% more. And this is the arbitration that we have to make, because if people think that legume nut group is better, then you comparing a clean choice with a clean choice, which is a good thing because legumes and nuts are not bad, and eggs and vegetables are not bad too, and they're pretty good, both of them. But it's just that one spikes sugar much more than the other. So now the article compares two healthy options and asks us to explain to our audience, which are mainly people that are very much aware of their wellness or wellness coaches, what to compare to. And this is a layer where we have a role to play by exactly telling them what you just told them, which is, okay, guys, we have to make our people, our guys balance their diet. But also there is something else. I think we have some metabolic scores. Each and any one of us is different. Like I'm more like a fat guy and a protein guy than a carb guy. I know carb does very bad to me and I feel completely dizzy and so on. And other people are feeling great when they have carbs. And this is the mistake of not continuously monitoring what the food is doing to your body. And this is why this is our endeavor, Yassine and I at 𝐒𝐿, because we want people to feel that what they eat, do this or that effect to them. Whether they eat hamburgers, it might not hurt their week, because at the end of the day, we're working on the law of the averages, and you're absolutely right. But also to get to know that each and any food taken as a whole has an impact on our body, because we 8 billion people on the planet and 8 billion reactions.
We're all different. We all have different needs. It's just an average, and we have to put things general because the audience that's hearing us, they're all different. Every single one is different. Every single one is going to react to a different nutrition. For example, I can eat an apple. I'm going to react differently than you're going to eat an apple or whatever. So we're all different. And this is the beauty of this world. And this is the beauty of understanding our own body, because when you try to understand your own body, I personally love it. So yeah.
But Amita, what would be the solution to you? What would be the solution to be able to provide to the wellness coaches for them to preach to their clients?
So we do this very interesting exercise in my clinic, wherein when we have had someone who's been on multiple diet programs, or who've been, you have a lot of serial dieters. We take them through this exercise of trying to understand their hunger cues. So it invariably happens that when I ask them, like, when was the last time you felt hungry and how did hunger feel to you? People, 9 out of 10 times, they struggle to describe the symptoms of how they feel when they're hungry. Okay, so this brings me to the point of that Yassine was trying to make, wherein we as a generation, we have forgotten to listen to our own bodies, because your body is telling you all the time. So if the weather is changing, my appetite is going to change. If my mood is changing, if external environment is changing around me, even say if I'm stressed or if I'm not stressed, all of that is going to change the way I am feeling and how I am going to respond to those cues and the choices that I'm going to make. But the key is listening to your body. So as wellness coaches, I think the first thing that I would tell all wellness coaches is to teach their clients how to listen to their own body, because like we already discussed, while mushrooms might make Karim feel good, they may not agree with me, and Yassine could be okay with an apple, totally so on and so forth. So try to tune in to listen to what your body is telling you. And if today you are going to feel okay eating, you're going to feel great eating a brownie, go for it. But then make sure that you also listen to how good you are feeling when you picked a salad instead. And then remember that, the value or the joy that you got, or the feeling, that the good feeling that you got when you made a healthy choice, and how it impacted the rest of your life, your sleep, your energy levels, and everything. So listening in is key, I feel.
I think this is the magic word. Listening to your body is key. So guys, let's get to a second topic, who is key to the heart of Yassine, which is a marketing topic. Yassine, can you tell us about the second topic?
So the second topic is basically about the 7 wellness marketing strategies. Me personally, as content creator, it's definitely what I do. And in this article, we have three main points, which the first one says, did you know that 50% of consumers place wellness as a top priority in their daily lives? This shift in consumer behavior has taken wellness from being just a trend to becoming a fundamental aspect of our existence. Over the past 3 years, the prioritization of health and wellness on a global scale has surged from 27% to 65%. Wellness marketing is not just about selling product or services, it's about inspiring and empowering individuals to lead healthier and happier lives, which is 100% what we do today. It's all about inspiring people and teaching people on how to become healthy, not only in their daily lives, but also mentally healthy, because I strongly believe that mental health is as important or even more important than physical health. What do you think about it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, Amita, go ahead.
So yes, I mean, mental health is plays a huge role, and a lot of times we see in practice as well as I see it as a nutritionist that even if say all of your macros are on point, you're sleeping okay, you're doing maybe not sleeping okay if your mental health is not great, but you're doing everything else. But if your mental health is not, you're not working on that, then you're not going to be able to feel healthier, or you will not see the change even in your biochemical parameters, in your biochemistry, like when you do your blood work. So yeah, absolutely with you, Yassine.
Yeah, but then it comes back to the point of inviting our guests to take into consideration about trend and ethics, because there's a trendy way of handling wellness and there's ethics behind the wellness, and we have to be very much aware of the difference between the two. Because again, the line is very thin in between them. Trends are something you even push more and more on social media. I mean, social media for me, it's a trend booster, because someone you get to know very well, like Yassine, might consider this type of way of handling his wellness. And another guy would be, or another woman would be completely the opposite and as trendy as Yassine, for over 2 million people following her. And I mean, at the end of the day, we as coaches are in the middle, trying to mitigate between this opinion and this one. Sometimes they're not all right, but they're not also all wrong, and they bring up some trends to make business out of it, and sometimes those trends can hurt.
Have you heard about? Sorry, Amita, I cut you, but have you heard about the 75 hard challenge?
Not me.
75 hard? No.
You never heard about this challenge?
No.
Wow. This was a super trendy challenge, I think last year, which was 75 days going full on wellness. Did you see that? Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
What are your thoughts on this challenge?
It was just 75 days of following, like picking up a habit and just focusing on wellness, right?
Like let me just recap so that everyone can know. Yes. But it was like you need to work out twice a day. Once is at the gym, once it's outside. You need to drink, I think, 5 liters of water every single day. You need to meditate and read 10 pages a day of a book. This challenge went viral on TikTok, for example.
Okay.
And a lot of people did it. And a lot of people, it changed a lot of people's lives doing this challenge. I personally believe that it's way too hard. I mean, the challenge says it itself, 75 hard. It's way too hard and way too pushy for people, because a lot of non-wellness or health people started doing this challenge.
Yeah, but maybe Amita will be even will go deeper into this. But when you shock your body, one way or another, this is what I learned during my wellness journey. You find results of losing weight or feeling better because you shock, and your body responses to the shock is good and makes you feel bad in the beginning, but good at the end. And when it's kind of 70 days, it becomes good after 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You suffer for the first 2 weeks, but you're in a challenge. These TikTok things works, etc. And I believe that the shocking things which is a good thing for the body, is a good way to make people learn how different things make them feel. Because one magical word for me is first feeling. How do you feel yourself inside? Do you feel better, more energized? Do you sleep better? Do you feel like you are on track and concentrated? Even your brain health is in play. And second is consistency. We always say with Yassine, it's all about whatever we want to do. It's about being consistent with what we do. And this 70-day challenge is a good thing when it's done entirely, because then people feel. And there is also a third thing that maybe, Amita, I want you to step in, which is the force of habits. There's this 21 days habit thing, which means that after 21 days, you get a habit of doing things much easier. Can you give us your take on that?
So a couple of things here that while the whole shocking thing works because it gets you in the groove of doing things, a lot of times what happens is people take up something for a short span of time. Usually you have these 21-day challenges that people take up, but this one 75 hard thing was for how long, Yassine?
75 days.
75 days, yeah. So that's still like a really long time, but I feel that people like the concept of doing something new, which is very radical and it is like very different from what they have been doing. And the notion that if I have to become healthier, I have to do something completely diametrically opposite to what my life is currently. And the only way to do it is either I do all of it or none of it, so that the all or nothing mindset comes into play. So that is what these challenges they thrive on. So while yes, it is, I would say that if one is going for some such challenge, I mean, and it's working for you, go for it. But then what happens is that the moment you come back to what is your real life, or the moment, the pandemic ends and you have to go back to your office, now you're suddenly not able to work out twice or do all of those reading of the book and everything, then you feel that you've failed completely, while you've not. You actually need to be able to give yourself enough grace and leeway to understand that that was not a part of my true life. So it helps to, I always tell people that while you're trying to work on your habits, Karim, that you mentioned about, it always helps to start with what is going to be the easiest thing to do. Always start with the easiest habit first, rather than say that, okay, now I'm going to hit the gym every single day. I don't have the time for it, but I'm going to hit the gym every single day. Instead of making that the goal, how about just saying that I'm going to start sleeping by 10 p.m.?
Yeah, it reminds
That
me
is
of
going to be easier. Do that first so that it builds the foundation for the next healthy habit.
Yeah, it reminds me of a fancy trend that occurred on the internet about something like 10 years ago. I remember it was about this ice bucket thing when people were...
Everyone was doing that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You see, there were millions of people who were doing the ice bucket. I said, yes, this is a good thing because when you shock your body with ice, this works. But unfortunately, it was once in a while, and it was as a tour doing to your guys. But it was good at the end because it showed people, and a lot of trends went through that the big thing, showing that ice is good for the body to be shocked. And a lot of people starting doing ice bath that we're doing at home, Yassine and I, nearly every single day, only out of this fancy, funny experience.
It's so true. But as you said, Amita, I'm gonna take back to the habits. And I always say it as well, my social media is starting on the easiest one. You start on one, let's build one, and then the other, and then the other. But don't try to go hard like everyone tries to make. Okay, starting Monday, I'm going to go into diet. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to read a book. You know that you're going to do this once, like maybe 2-3 days. Then you're going to stop. Why? Because you went too hard right at the beginning. And that's what people need to understand as well, is that having a healthy lifestyle or building healthy habits, it's not about doing all in. It's about doing small steps at a time. It's just about building a habit. It's better to build a habit in a long term than just building crazy lifestyle for a week and then going back to your normal lifestyle.
So, Yassine, I want to ask you something here because you mentioned earlier as well that you used to lead a very unhealthy life. You were not eating right and everything. And where now you are speaking about prioritizing wellness, prioritizing what you are eating, and as well as you're also talking about taking it slow, like, with the habits, like you mentioned, that do not going for, like, say, a big change in your diet or even in your lifestyle and building on things. How did you make this change in your mindset?
So basically, let me tell you the story about how it happened. But when I was a kid, I used to eat a lot of sugar. I was craving sugar all the time. I was hiding in my room, eating sugar and buying those candies and eating cakes whenever there was cake at home. And one day was my birthday. It was I think my 12th birthday, 12-year anniversary. And basically, I was having a piece of cake. So I had one piece of cake. But then I wanted another one. So I went for the other one, for the other piece of cake. And I had the look of my dad saying like, hey, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? Why are you going for a second one? And it was a big one. And at that time, I remember I cried. I went to my room and I locked myself. Why? Because it was my birthday.
2 days, guys. He locked himself for 2 days.
Yeah,
He wouldn't talk to anybody.
I was
By
frustrated.
the way, it was not the second one, I have to admit. It was about the fourth one.
I don't know. It was a piece of. It was my birthday. I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do.
Yes.
I had the right to do it. But at that time, I had kind of a change. I was like, okay, I think something is happening right here. I saw all my friends at school were like fit, playing football and whatever. And I wasn't obese or whatever. I was a bit fat. I had some fat in my body, which is normal. I was a kid, but I was eating too much sugar. And I realized that at that time. And from that day, I started exercising. I started exercising just a bit. I was a sporty guy. I was doing wakeboarding, surfing, skateboarding, basketball. I was into sports. So I loved sport, but my nutrition wasn't very good. And at that time, I don't know how, but something shifted in my mind. I was like, okay, this is wrong. I have to take action. I need to make small steps. And this is when I started with a nutritionist to be able to lose weight. I lost, and I don't know how I went into this healthy lifestyle, but I remember when I went to study in Barcelona on my 18th, I was the only one from my university waking up in the morning to go to the gym before I go to the university. And from that moment, that became my lifetime habit. Now, I kind of have at 6 in the morning, from 6 to 9, my phone is off. I don't answer anyone. My dad can call me, I'm not going to answer. He can text me, I'm not going to answer. Because from 6 to 9, it's my own time where I focus. I go to the gym. I have my earphones in. I will listen to a podcast or listen to music. And I focus on my health because I prioritize my health first thing in the morning. If I don't do that, I know that I'm going to spend a very bad day or I'm not going to be in the mood. And I think the shift was when I went to study in Barcelona, and I had this sense of being like, okay, my health is first, everything comes after.
There is also another thing that I want to mention is the compounding effect of being in a family that speaks about wellness every single day. I mean, every time we were sitting at the table all together, having lunch or dinner, I was telling Yassine or one of my daughters or my wife, well, avocado is the best thing. Why is it the best thing? If you mix this and that, you'll have this. Because I was studying. I had a brain tumor 30 years ago, and I started studying about wellness. This is why I'm so passionate about it. And I think the compound effect of having people talk about it all the time. And I remember I was at the funeral about 1 month ago, and when we start speaking about something, it's about what we eat and how much sport we do. I mean, it's the real first topic, except the American election, by the way. But the truth of matters is, if you look at it, family-wise, we mostly speak about our relations, yes, but also about food, diet, and sport.
So I think it's very important for us to be able to convey to people that whatever you want to do in life, you're going to be able to do it better if you have your health. If you don't have that, if you have a your mind needs to be housed in a healthy body, only then it's going to be able to help you to fulfill all of your aspirations, all the money you want to earn and all the careers you want to make and everything. Unless and until you have your health in place somewhere or the other, maybe not just now, maybe not in your 20s, not in your 30s, but somewhere when you are at a crucial point, you not having prioritized your health will become a hurdle, and that then it will be too late. So Karim, what you mentioned, that having an environment which is speaking about healthy behaviors and where everyone is involved in a health promoting activity, or the entire mindset is aligned, is very important. Because I see it in my practice a lot of times wherein I have one person from a family of four who's trying to eat healthier, and rest of the people are telling them that, why are you not eating this, why it's nothing. I mean, in India it's a very common practice where people will tell them to, you can diet tomorrow, today you eat. So that's what happens. And I feel that you having the support of a family and to be in an environment that is going to promote healthy behaviors is also highly underrated. It's super important.
Yeah, in the family we call it zig and zag.
Totally agree. Well, it's actually a very broad and passionate topic, and this is why we're here. It's always about like educating people and teaching them or helping them in a way on how to become health conscious and their different choices. And I think this is the perfect moment to be able to dive into the third topic, which Karim, you can introduce.
Yes, this is the one cheer to my heart. It is a tech topic, but it's not so tech, because at the end of the day, it's the relation between tech and our life. And this is even more important. That is the purpose of, by the way, of my last book, Renaissance Now, or it's just here, by the way. And I believe we have to be aware of what's going on in terms of tech, because everybody's using his phone or her phone. And all this is related to tech. All what we do in the morning, probably people are using their phone 8 to 9 to 10 hours a day. And this brings in something up. And I like this article. The main title of the article is How AI Could Improve Human Health and Happiness. And the major statement are every aspect of human health is dependent on 5 foundational daily behaviors: food, sleep, movement, stress management, and connection. And the second statement is, in theory, a hyper-personalized AI coach could have a big impact on our ability to develop healthier daily habits. And the third one is, what I hope with AI is that it serves our individual will, and that we can explain what we want in our best moments. So it's all about the relation we have with tech, particularly AI, who is a tool that went out to the mind of people about 2.5 years ago when ChatGPT was released. We were using at our company AI for probably 20 years, because AI is very old technology. It was invented in the years 57, nearly. But really, when it came to people's mind, what they could do with it and how we could improve their productivity in lives. I don't say their lives. This is the purpose of that title for us coaches that are looking at the podcast. What it could provide them as a productivity tool, and what magic it brings them. So what could be the interaction between AI and their happiness in life? What are your guests or your clients, Amita, saying about this?
So what I am looking at as a nutritionist would be maybe the topic that we touched upon earlier.
I mean, what impact do you think this tech thing, phone, AI has on your clients?
I am happier that people are now using technology better to be able to understand and access information. So you see, in India, we are seeing a lot of apps where you have AI being coaches, AI-led coaches, or you can speak to a health assistant or to a health coach, which is actually bought or like led through AI. So we also have a lot of apps actually which help you to access or to gain information from the nutrient labels, because like we spoke about earlier, that where you have food available and then people don't know how to interpret it. So I'm seeing AI helping in that as well, wherein people are using all of that. And I hope to, we also saw some apps which some people are trying out now, wherein you have like a mirror that people are exercising in front of, and you have a coach, like a personal trainer, helping you to do those workouts and guiding you with those workouts. So there is a lot of new stuff that is coming in. Some people are using it, others are still reluctant, but I am hopeful that we can use that technology better.
I totally agree with you, Amita. It's today technology is helping us. Today, for example, as young adults, technology is helping us to understand better what we need to help us throughout the journey. For example, myself, I use an app to be able to calculate different calories and intakes and whatsoever. I don't use it every single day, but it helps me understand my next meal when I'm gonna cook it, what is approximately inside, just to be able to be health conscious on what I eat. And I think technology is going to help us like this. But sometimes, and maybe you're gonna know this better than me, sometimes people use this and it becomes kind of a drug, and they become too dependent on it. So they're like too focused, and mentally they're not healthy. They may be healthy in their body, but mentally they're completely destroyed because they calculate every single thing. There's some ways to be able to counter this, but this is when AI and the human behavior needs to kind of collaborate together to be able to give tips, to be able to help people understand better their health, but not only inside, but also like, mentally as well inside.
Yeah, this is what we do at AP with Yassine, by the way, is trying to match this technology in a wise way so that people don't get, we hear every day about this, those youth, mainly youth, sticking to their screen for maybe 12 hours, 14 hours. I mean, even when they want to sleep and you take them to switch off their phones, they're having their phones under their mattress and they use it until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then when they have to go to school at 8 o'clock in the morning, their brain is like, woo, and they are completely trapped in this matter. So using AI for the good of knowledge of what's going on around you, of having nearly an agent helping you get to know yourself better about how you interact with it and what it brings back to you is a good thing. Overwhelming yourself with tech at the end of the day has its downside, and this as coaches we have to be aware of, to provide the necessary just right balance to our clients. And I believe, and this is the purpose of my book also, that AI, wisely used, properly used, will make us recover some of our time, because it's a time machine. AI is a productivity tool. It's a time machine. So when it gives you time to do other tasks, it doesn't have to be compounded in going so much in social media or doing other things because you have the time to do it. It should be funneling you to do things that are good for you, going and outside in nature, visit your friends, interact, do things like this instead of being solo. I'm under the impression that this AI, whether we use it in our company in a deep way to be able to help people track their health, might also, on another hand, used improperly, lead them to be more solo, to embed themselves into a lonely life where they are so trapped by the capacity of this technology to infect them that they have nearly no more outside life. And when you look at the trends, you see more and more youth and even adults getting more and more lonely with the rise of technology. What do you think, Amita?
Yeah, and it's concerning because we are seeing mental health worsening globally. The numbers are really concerning, and that is a big fear. Yes, that where two things to both of you raised two very valid points. Karim, you said that the fear is that people will get more and more isolated, and Yassine, you mentioned that people will get more and more hyper focused, or just it becomes wherein your pursuit of perfection becomes so over consuming that now you're, even if you're doing most as best as you can, you're not going to be happy with it, and you will never feel content. And to me, contentment is a big part of your mental health, because if I'm content doing what I'm doing, maybe I'm, to give an example, right now I'm happy, I'm very content speaking to you guys. But if I had not been, I would then want to, maybe deploy some technology and make this, enhance this, make it better. And that way, my pursuit of happiness is just never ending, right? I will never be able to say feel okay about myself. So my big fear is that it is going to compound the existing mental health problems that we have. And as a health personnel, as a health professional, mental health, like we already discussed, to me is very important, because even if my all of my, say, habits, say if I have AI doing most of my work, and it is supposed to give me more time to be able to spend with my family, but what if my family is also busy in their own AI world, and no one has time to be with each other anymore? And then it just keeps on increasing my anxiety on multiple aspects. Then it's of no use to me, right? So, and my also the worry is that, see, the technology can be guided, is going to be guided by humans. While it is going to learn on their own, there is going to be some guidance. So say for example, a diet app, okay, something which is going to help you to become healthier. Now if it is designed by someone who believes in absolutes, and it believes in a very hyper restrictive kind of a say lifestyle or everything, then people are only going to be consumed by that, and that can have a very lasting impact on their overall health. Versus if the technology is more humane in their approach, and if it is made by someone who understands that this is for humans who are not machines, who will need or who will have other factors which are going to be deviant from what you maybe would write in a textbook, then that to me would be a better use of it than going for treating humans as machines.
I totally agree, because we're not machines. We're definitely not machines, and we need to know how to balance all of that. And that's our role as wellness coaches and wellness enthusiasts, to be able to use AI to better people's life in a easier way for us, and to be able to, personally, I strongly believe that, okay, there's this AI thing. We're all scared about the AI and what it's going to do in our world and whatever. But we as humans have the role to use AI to be more productive and to help more people with that tool. So we as wellness coaches have to use this tool to be able to help even more people. Now we can help 10 people, let's say, a day. With this tool, let's help 100 people. So times 10. If we're managing to do this, I think we're on the right path.
Yeah, you mentioned here 2 points, guys, and I want to dig into those 2 points. The first point is a very potent one, which is saying, what is the technology? How is the technology architecturally made so that it helps people and nudges them into their best, which is taking in consideration how their life, with the context they have, with this country they have. We were talking, Amita, you were saying to me that according to the seasons, people are eating different things, different parts of India, because India is a very big country. So at the same time, you have people eating different things because it's the winter on one side and then maybe the summer or the spring on the other side. And this agent, I would say, because we're coming into the agent era, we have to be very much aware of it. And this is what we do in our company. But also that we have to take the whole thing into consideration. And the magic of AI regarding this is that when you give it the right insights, it gives you back whatever fits to you. In our company, we have in our wall a very big writing which says just entirely tailored. Because we believed in our company for over 30 years that we have to tailor solutions whatever we do. And we were in tech for over 30 years, and we were doing it with our clients, whether it was on security matters or other matters. And the second thing is about loneliness. I was at an international e-medicine conference about 3 days ago, and I was in a panel handling this relation between tech and the mental health. It was exactly the title of the panel. And I have three fantastic people around me, two ladies and one guy. The guy was handling the elderly people, and the ladies were handling the mental health of the general population. And when it came out is the example of COVID-19, where you had everybody lonely at his home in front of the screen because there was nothing else to do. And what happens next is that you had a boom of kind of mental health coaches getting overwhelmed by the people that want to treat this mental disease, because mostly in young people, by the way, there were a lot of them who were completely became dysfunctional because of this loneliness. And this, I think, we have to take into consideration very strongly.
Absolutely. And like till the time we are using AI, say, for example, we also have a very big elderly population coming up. Now, if AI is going to be able to help them fill their prescriptions or look after them or guide them to where their glasses are, for example, like that is fantastic. Or even at times be able to get people rid of the loneliness, because you can have as a person or an AI being, say, or some person to speak to, who, like Siri, for example, right? So who's talking to you. If that is going to be the use, yes, why not? That is going to help. But then I feel that this technology is something which one needs to be very careful about what direction it gets, and it will need to be monitored, because otherwise the effects can be very concerning on people.
Exactly. That's the role of us as coaches, is to be able to manage this technology, then to deliver to clients what we believe is the right thing to do.
Yeah, but look at a country like Japan, for instance. Japan is a very robotic country. You have robots all over the world. And for elderly people, because Japan is more than, I think, 50 or 60% people over 60 years old. So they're very trapped into this. And they got around them whatever they need to do it. And I think we are in a paradigm shift where we see humanoid robots coming over. And at the same time, there's many humanoid robots are going to replace some jobs. We have to admit it. But maybe those jobs are going to be replaced are jobs from humans that go and check about elderly people, help them out. I can see a taxi driver changing jobs, getting into taking care of elderly people, because it's very difficult for her or him to do otherwise, because he's over 40, 50 years old maybe, and maybe he will not be accepted into other areas. Doing this kind of job, replacing robots as a job, because robots are robots, but humans are not replaceable when it comes to be interacting with humans, particularly elderly people.
Totally agree. Well, it's a fascinating topic. This podcast actually was very full of information. Amita, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And it's amazing to have different points of view, not only from different generations, but also different countries, which is amazing. Your expertise is well appreciated in this podcast. I really hope the audience liked it as well. It was an amazing exchange. And I really hope, one day when we're going to come to India, I really hope to meet you in India. If you come to Morocco as well, you're welcome to come to us. And I don't know if you have any conclusion that you want to bring to the table.
I think I would want people to remember to listen to their bodies, to think of their mental health, and to be realistic that, I mean, if a lot of times where health is concerned overall, people assume that, especially now New Year's is around the time, like, right around the corner, people will start assuming that with the changing new year, they are going to be completely different. But it doesn't happen that way. December 31st to Jan 1, I don't change as a person, although I might want to be a completely new person. Changing of the calendar doesn't do that. So be realistic with your goals and take it easy. Go easy on yourself is what I would like to tell people.
Yeah, and then I would say, I would add to all what you just said, guys, is track whatever metrics you can track to get to know yourself better, but don't overdo it with tech, not to be completely trapped into the tech lonely environment. So guys, I was very happy. Thank you, Yassine, for welcoming us today. Thank you, Amita. We were very honored to have you. You're such a wonderful person. And I think a lot of people that are going to look at this podcast worldwide are going to appreciate the fact that we're 3 generations today. I mean, you have the 30s, you have the 40s, and you have the 60s. And I think this interaction was good because at the end, it helps us exactly project our audience of coaches to get to have some more insights, I hope, for whatever they do with their clients.
Exactly. Well, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button so you don't miss the next podcast. See you.